Ever bought a cheap webcam and thought you'd save a few bucks, only to end up with grainy video, echoing microphones, and a meeting that feels more like a bad Zoom call? The regret that hits you right after you click join is real, and it's why a lot of people hesitate before splurging on a professional-grade video bar. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk through why the Logitech Rally Bar feels like a smarter buy than those bargain options, and where it might still leave you wishing you'd looked a little deeper before you ordered. First off, the hesitation most buyers feel isn't about the price tag alone, it's about the risk of investing in a piece of hardware that sounds impressive on paper but turns out to be a headache in the office or home office. With a product that combines a 4K camera, an array of microphones, and a speaker system into one sleek box, you're asking for a lot of things to work together flawlessly. The good news is that the Rally Bar is built to handle typical day-to-day video conference scenarios without needing a tech-savvy IT person on standby. The bad news is that it still has a few hidden trade-offs that become obvious only after you've set it up and started using it for real meetings. Let's talk about the category for a second. All-in-one video conferencing bars sit at the intersection of plug-and-play and enterprise grade. In theory, you unbox the device, place it on a table or mount it, connect power and Wi-Fi, and you're ready to go. In practice, the devil is in the details. How the camera tracks participants, how the microphones pick up voices across a conference room, and whether the speaker output can fill a medium-sized space without distortion. The Rally Bar tries to cover all three angles. It's designed for rooms roughly 10 to 20 feet wide, which is the sweet spot for many small to medium teams that have moved from laptops to a dedicated meeting hub. Who should actually buy this? If you run a hybrid team that meets in a room of about 12 to 15 feet, need a single device that can handle both video capture and audio without adding separate mics or speakers, and you want a solution that scales from onion-owned calls to six-person huddles, the Rally Bar is a solid contender. It's also a good fit for a home office executive who wants a professional look on camera and who doesn't want to juggle a webcam, a separate speakerphone, and a lighting rig. On the flip side, if your meetings are usually one-to-one, you're comfortable with a decent laptop webcam and a Bluetooth headset, or you have a massive boardroom that seats 20-plus people, you'll probably be better off looking at a dedicated PTZ camera system or a larger array of speakers and microphones. Now let's get into the practical strengths that make the Rally Bar stand out after the initial setup. The first thing I noticed during my own trial was the camera's automatic framing. You point the bar at the room, and the built-in software tracks movement, zooming in just enough to keep each speaker in view without making the image feel jittery. In a real-world scenario, say, a weekly product demo where the presenter moves between a whiteboard and a laptop, this tracking eliminates the need for a second camera operator. The digital zoom is smooth, and because it's handled internally rather than through a separate lens, the image stays crisp even when you zoom a couple of steps in. Audio is another area where the Rally Bar delivers real-world value. The bar houses a set of beam-forming microphones that can pick up voices from across the room while rejecting background chatter. In my tests, the microphones captured a clear voice even when the speaker was sitting at the far end of a 14-foot table, and the echo cancellation worked well enough that I never had to ask participants to repeat themselves. The built-in speaker array filled the room with clear, balanced sound, which is a noticeable upgrade from the tinny audio you get from most all-in-one webcam kits. For a small team that wants to avoid the listen tomte everyone's feel, this is a genuine boost in meeting quality. That said, the Rally Bar isn't without weaknesses. The first practical trade-off is the reliance on a strong Wi-Fi connection. The device supports wireless LAN, but in offices where the router sits in a different wing, you may notice occasional hiccups in video smoothness during longer calls. I found that positioning the bar closer to the access point or using a wired Ethernet adapter if you have one handy solves most of those hiccups, but that adds an extra cable to manage. Secondly, the digital zoom, while smooth, has its limits. You can't zoom in so far that you replace a dedicated PTZ camera. If your meeting room has a whiteboard on one wall and you need to capture details from that board while the presenter stands on the opposite side, you might find the field of view a bit restrictive. Another point worth mentioning is the